It wasn't you, it was someone else. It wasn't that slow, I was exaggerating. This should be, I mean, not running cadence, but it should be a relaxed pendulum. That's why we start with the pendulum side. So in her doing that of being a little slower and a little bit more deliberate, she was holding the muscle activation longer than you do when you're running. And that's why you were getting a little sore on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it should be, just start with the pendulum. This is the timing. You're going to get this rhythm down. Then lift the knee. Then tap the foot. Then power.
So as we're looking at this, after 30 seconds or 45 seconds, you could start, I'm guessing, one could start to say, oh, there's a weakness in X because this is what you're doing with this.
Exactly. Yeah. You may notice that you have a weakness on one side. You may notice that your right side's open, but your left side does this. And you're using this. And a lot of us don't even realize we're activating this hip flex, but we are. I touched base on some of you tucked your back and said, hey, let it go. You're the ones specifically tonight here that are doing that. And some of us will anyway, especially when you go home and forget stuff because you're going to, I don't know, brain can only hold so much stuff, right? And you're going to be useless tomorrow anyway because you learned everything today. But we're going to forget stuff, and we're going to go back and do that again. And I said it's you're going to be helping your athletes, and they're going to be doing this. They're going to be using their hip flexor, stopping that, and then they're doing the exact same thing when they're running outside. And so instead of having their nice flowing stride that gives them a little bit of follow through, they're going to run like this. Heavy on the hip flexors. Did everybody see the difference in that? It's a subtle difference, but it's huge, especially after several miles. And then they're wondering why they have to go to acupuncturists to get their hip flexor turned off, because the one that we're using is the third muscle down, and the only way to really get into it is with acupuncture. And that's a very muscle very prone to tightening up and cramping up. And once we're back here, remember we didn't talk about anything about coming forward. It's all passive. Until you lift the knee, then you do, at that point, you do use hip flexor for a split second to allow the knee to come up so that we don't do this. When we're running, we don't need to because the foot actually doesn't have time to allow to come forward this way. The passive, as we're running, comes up this way anyway. Questions on that? Comments?
Me again. I noticed when I was hitting the wall, my knee wasn't going straight. It was going at an angle, and maybe that's why I haven't run since September, because my knee.
You're going to notice things about your run that you don't realize you're doing. If you're coming across while you're doing that, yeah, there might be some muscle imbalances going on. There might be a hip dysfunction going on. That's a point to go and either get a functional movement screen to see if there's a muscle imbalance going on, or maybe just do a quick self-assessment of what's going on. So some single leg squats will help you realize if your single leg squats and your hips going in, or you're twisting in single leg squats, there's a muscle imbalance or hip dysfunction going on. Hip dysfunctions can be more of a chiropractor, physical therapy thing. Muscle imbalance can be more of a physical therapy thing. Yeah. That's not a blanket. They're just some of the people on your team. I'm going to talk more about having your team. Your team is your primary healthcare person, your physical therapist, your acupuncture, your chiro, your mental skills, psychologist, psychiatrist, herbalist, vitamin person. I mean, all the people that are going to help you on your team have one of those ready. If you see a need for a certain professional, even if you don't personally have that need, your athletes are going to ask you for that. And be ready with names, numbers, contacts, touch base with each one. And just tell them, hey, I'm a triathlon coach in town. I've got a bunch of athletes have these needs. Do you mind if I give them your contact information for somebody to go see? You have a great reputation. I've used it myself. Whatever the reason is, if it's just blindly going down the yellow pages and picking one, then probably ask around and find a better way to pick somebody. But that's part of your professional team of how you can fix that. And then if you have an imbalance or something going on that you're finding from these skills, go to your physical therapist or somebody on your team and say, hey, I'm noticing this, can you help me? And a lot of times they either can or they'll point you in the right direction. Right? Okay. Good question. All right, stability exercise. Come back into the circle, but give yourselves a little bit of space because we're going to move around. Okay, stand on one foot. Easy, right? Should be. This isn't easy for a lot of people. Some of your athletes won't be able to do this. This is super important. because it's foot stability. You can see how, you feel how much your foot's moving, right? All that movement is all the stuff that happens when you hit the ground and when your foot hits the ground on impact. Anybody have absolutely no movement in their foot at all? Okay, cool. Or you're lying, one of the two. Okay. Now, just do a little bit of a twist. Turn to the person on your left, turn to the person on the right. Okay, what's that do? Oh, now we're stable. Yeah. Okay. Now, don't switch legs, just so that we can even it out. My left is way less stable than my right. There's injury stuff. Okay, now go to the person next to you and give them a slight push. Or high five. Okay? So this very simple exercise is key in helping to build that foot stability so that when your foot hits the ground, we have the ability to take all that impact down. When can you do this? You can do this at the office when you're in a meeting, standing and talking with somebody. You can do it while you're cooking breakfast. You can do it when you're brushing your teeth. So you're dynamic. Yeah, absolutely. Any opportunity you can to work on one leg is better. And then that goes into some more dynamic work. Just easy, simple hops. You can do this while you're brushing your teeth. And then you don't have to move the toothbrush. You just hold the toothbrush. Okay. Circle hop is good too. So you're putting even more instability in. All this is designed to introduce instability or induce instability so that we can stabilize up while we do that. Next one, this one I like a lot. Does anybody have, can I borrow your pen for a second, please? Thanks. So you'll want to put something on the ground. It can be a line. You know what? I'm not going to kill your pen. But I have a red line. See, there's a red line right here? Okay. So you're just going to start on one side, and you're just going to hop back and forth across. Very simple, very easy. Switch legs, do both sides, okay? Then what we can do is we can pick two lines. So I've got these two red lines, one right here, one right here. Start from here, hop across, hop across, hop across. Or if you really want to get impressive with it, go opposite leg as you go across. Obviously I'm not very impressive with it. But you can use that for the stability. But hopping back and forth with one leg, hopping from one leg to another, however you need to do that, but some lateral instability with there with your hops. Lunge hops, you guys can try any of these you want to, even now. Lunge hops go from here, pop up to here, pop up, here, pop up, here. You're going to be pushing off that back leg. You're going to initially stand up off the front, then you're going to power off the back to help with that.
What do you do with someone who has knee issues?
Don't do this.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, all of these aren't for everyone. Okay. This is the next one I have you guys all try. So bouncing is super important. This is that foot to that foot strength to weight ratio thing. What I want you guys to do is stand up, feet together. Okay. This is the one time and only time I'm going to ask you to lock your knees. Lock your calves out. Get up on your toes, a little bit on your toes. Be able to put a pencil underneath your heels. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to bounce on the ball of your foot. We're not using our calf. You're bouncing on your heels. If you're doing this, you're too slow. You're using your calf. Okay. Okay, notice our hands are down, our knees are locked, right?
Yeah.
You're doing this, you're using muscles. That's it. That's how we're going to build up stability or strength in the foot. If you can do that, good. That's great. Now, can you do it on one? And then the other? And do it on one. Can you walk with it? So, that's the progression, right? Start with 2 feet, eventually go to where you can do 1 foot for 10 seconds or 20 or 30, and then kind of build up from there. But just like anything strength-wise, start at the base level, go until you get right, and then progress up. 2-legged and single, and then the walking. That's going to build strength inside of here, yeah.
Would you say that's physiologically the same as jumping rope?
No, it can be. It can be. Jump rope, typically we will bend the knees more because of the cadence factor. Yeah. If you rocky jump rope, you're a little bit better with that because he goes faster. But yeah, jump rope actually is a great exercise. It's just slightly different. Not bad though. All right. For this one, let's line up as if we're going to do drills across here. So let's everybody come over here. Line up on the changing carpet here. So barefoot, do your name. Robbie. Everybody line up where Robbie's at. Not all behind him, but. And actually, the way Robbie's doing this with bare feet is phenomenal. That's where we really want to get to. We want to get to where we can bounce and do lateral and all that barefoot, because we're really using the foot like it's meant to be used. Okay, so you guys in front, what we're going to do is a fast foot drill. So in slow motion, what you're going to do is you're going to lift up, you're going to land on the toe, drop the heel to the ground, and come back on the toe as we go through. So toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, a little faster. Very important, you touch the toe, then the heel, then the toe. Your toe barely comes off the ground. Now go faster. Now go faster. Arm swing like you're running. Faster. Faster. Good. Now, we're going to make a little forward motion move. So we're going to go about an inch or two each time. So you're going about this fast. As you're going through.
How I run normal.
And we're going to roll it in the door. I'll meet you down. No. Just go like to here. So let's have everybody do that. No points for speed of forward motion. Points for speed doing it this, right? Arms like you're running every time we're doing these drills. Okay, first line, let's go. Toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, toe. Make sure your heel's hitting the ground. You're cheating if your heel's not hitting the ground. Heel's hitting the ground. Awesome. Okay. I like it. Now, slightly different. We're going to start with the heel on the ground first, and then roll from the heel all the way to the toe. Heel on the ground, roll to the toe. Heel on the ground, roll to the toe. So, slow motion is this. Overemphasizing, over-exaggerating. And fast is, it looks weird, I know, but just do it. All right, start slow, then speed it up. Heel, toe, heel, toe. We're working on the roll. Once you're on the heel, rolling the toe as fast as you can. Arms like you're running. Good. Faster, faster, faster. Good. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Excellent. Now the heel to toe thing can be modified a little bit. If you really want to work on calf activation, then you click on your calf and get onto the toe. If you really want to work on more dynamic calf, then you can get off the ground just a little bit with it as well. A little bit more difficult if you really want to land on your heel with it. Otherwise, you're just skipping. Okay? But I like where we do that one and get way up on the toe, keep the toe on the ground. That's the high march. All right. Knee driver. Who ran track cross country in junior high, high school, college? Only a couple of you, really. It surprises me. I expected more. Who at some time did a workout, track workout, where a coach was teaching you high knee drill? A few more of you. Okay. Standard, typical, past that you'll never do again high knee drill is where you lean back and you drive your knees up, right? This kind of thing, right? Okay, it does absolutely nothing for your running. And opens up your hips a little bit, and it teaches you to go backwards, put your arms in front, and lean back. Well, we want to do the opposite, right? We want to lean forward, we want our hands in front. So your knees, from this point forward, high knee drill, that you should do every time, at least you do speed and tempo work, probably every time you run, is going to be leaning forward. So start in your normal run form, then drive the knees up, and just drive into the ground. So you're doing your normal form, you're running forward, you're leaning forward, your arms are swinging, you're going to increase your arm swing, and you're going to drive your foot into the ground. So the force application is not pulling your knees up, but it's forcing into the ground. And the harder you do that, the harder distance comes up just as reaction. So here, and that's your new high knee drill. I call it a knee driver drill because it takes away the connotation of the original high knee stuff. You guys want to give that a try? Start in place first, then pick it up as you go and come forward so you can get out of each other's way. Drive, drive, drive. Lean forward, don't lean back, lean forward. Good. If we're doing this right, all of your foot's hitting the ground first. If we're doing it right, the ball of the foot's hitting the ground first on these. So if it helps you visualize that there's a bunch of walnuts on the ground and you're cracking the walnuts, that helps too. So we do it with our kids team. All right, last one. I think last one. Yeah, okay, so last one. Come back out in the circle, please. I know we're going through this fast, but the last class I taught was kind of upset that we didn't get out until 2 a.m. Okay. I'm going to have you watch first, then I'm going to have you practice it. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop into a lunge. Okay. On the lunge, like always, make sure your knee is both laterally over the toe and doesn't extend past the toe. So we're going to stand in a lunge. Now, you typically come out of the lunge is you step up on the front leg, right? Which is great for strength training. But for neuromuscular timing training that we're going to do right now, it's not what we want to be doing. When we run, we don't want to come up, pull ourselves to the front leg. We want to push off the back, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to drop into a lunge. And now we're going to try, other than not hitting the ground, we're going to try to make this front leg as passive as we can. All right? So in your back leg, we've got a bent knee and a bent ankle, right? Let's straighten them. And then go back to here. Straighten them. And then back to here. Straighten them. So you're firing your glute, quad, your calf. Think about it in that order. And then, after you do that a few times, you get that rhythm. Put a big power through it. Power up out of it. Okay? Give that a few tries, both legs. I'm going to walk around and make sure we're getting it. Everybody with me? So you're going to get into a lunge. Pause for a second. Straighten all your joints in the back. Ankle and knees straightened. Glute, quad, calf. Glute, quad, calf. Power. Not bringing your front leg into it.
But you're going forward. You're going forward because your leg's pushing you forward.
You will go forward when you're doing this, yep. Or up, depending on what your front leg is. The key to this is isolating the back leg. It's working.
Yeah.
You guys feel that? You feel how different that is from normal? Again, you can be during strength training, but the real function of this is neuromuscular timing training. We're getting these muscles to fire the way we want them to. Training and teaching, saying all these fast drills are neuromuscular timing. All right, everybody good? Questions on any of those? It's not the all-encompassing exhaustive list, but it's pretty decent. When I personally run, then I'll start with a couple of these. I'll do the body position drill once. I'll do the donkey kick because my hips tend to get tight. That's a good way to loosen up hips and get the feel for running. Then what I'll do is I'll do a bit of a high march. This one, usually right to the mailbox. Then I'll go to a knee driver, usually to the neighbor's mailbox. Then I like butt kick. Butt kick's the standard butt kick we typically know. The key with butt kick is making sure that something touches back here. Either your heel touches your butt or your calf and hamstring touch. But fast cadence is important on this one. I'll usually do that for 20 or 30 yards, and then I feel okay to start running. That's just my normal endurance run. When you're running with athletes, especially do this, because you're teaching your athletes how to do it right, not necessarily go, right? Our typical warm-up is what? Right? Some don't even just yawn. I mean, but so get into something, help your body prepare for the work you're about to put it through. Doing a track or a tempo or speed work, then make that more. I do most of these. My track group, we spend about 20 minutes after warm up doing a bunch of these strides, plies, and that, with a few others sprinkled in that we like to do. Okay. Questions?
What other, do you do other longer drills after some runs or anything, or do you ever prescribe that to your athletes?
Drills after running. I like barefoot grass running, strides, skips. Strides are the big one. Those are the main things I do after running. Typically after endurance type running, it's good to end with good solid muscle memory. So barefoot on grass, or barefoot in the desert if you're in Tucson, because we don't have grass. But barefoot on grass is very good. It helps build up that foot strength, that foot stability. It's usually somewhat refreshing to take off the shoes and go do some strides. 30 or 40 yards, 80% effort, and then skip or hop back. Do that half dozen times or so, sometimes more. That's typically my post-run kind of thing. Otherwise, when I'm done running, I do myself and I encourage my athletes to walk a bunch to help the heart rate come down, not just run to the doorstep and then go and immediately sit down. His muscles will tighten. So that's my technique with it. There's a lot of other techniques for doing stuff post-running. Doing these after running would not be a bad thing, except the ones that can fatigue you out. The bouncing, the lunge, push-offs, those things can be affected by fatigue. And if we're doing them after running, then we can do them tired and we're reinforcing bad habits. Yeah. Any other questions for this part?
Is there a specific drill that you use for dead butt syndrome?
Dead butt syndrome. Donkey kicks are really good one. And the lunge push-off is really good. Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, it's just a practice. The best one I like for that is activating the hips. So without going too deep into more stuff, I'll tie a stretch cord off to something. I'll do a full weight hip exercise where I'll tie the stretch cord around my right ankle and I'll push away from it here and then turn 90 degrees and push away from it. The stretch cord's off this way. Turn 90 degrees and push away from it and then turn 90 degrees and push away from it this way. I don't know how to do that. That helps build the stability, which a lot of times what causes dead butt. Otherwise, if it's just a thing's turned off, the muscle isn't working. Usually, if it's a no-kid muscle isn't working, it's not turned on, then a physical therapist can help with that. Otherwise, yeah, the lunge and the donkey kick are good ones.
Do you incorporate trail running for strength?
Not always. Most of them. I love trail running. The stability that trail running is awesome. Mountain biking for cyclists, trail running. The more unstable you can train, the stronger you're going to get. I'm not saying you should run on marbles or bowling balls on ping pong table. But solid trails where you're not going to kill yourself, but absolutely every time you move louder, that's building strength. I'm a huge fan of trail running and mountain biking.
How do you overcome some of people who fear about their injuries running through a run, but then also they're beneficial for them?
There's a big fear of trail running. Because of injury, right? You're going to trip, you're going to fall and scrape your knee, there is a fear to it. Most people who have the fear of trail running, the fear is there because they fell somewhere in the past. They fell somewhere in the past because they don't have the stability of strength built up in order to handle it. Work them on skills for a long time first, then go with them to a very mild trail, then work up into it, and work up to it, and work up to it. That's the best way, and go with them so that they have that comfort to do that.
How about helping someone increase their cadence?
Forcing it. Put them on a treadmill. This is the way I do it with my athletes. When I do treadmill, we're going to get to that here in a second, is stand next to the treadmill, get them at a certain pace, and just have them increase. All right, follow my cadence and start tapping the edge of the treadmill. Just tap it. And make them follow your cadence. And make them follow it. You're going to yell it a little louder. If they're not going to yell a little louder, you have to force it, get them to see it. And if they're not following it, then stop and pause and change the run form a little bit. The hands higher typically, get them to lean forward is another one, and then get back there and start tapping the treadmill at the end. That's the, you got to reinforce it, the cadence sometimes. Yeah. So you can't just go, all right, run at 100 cadence today. You know, they just don't get it. All right, let's run back inside. I've got another 40 minutes if you